What's going on, you guys? It's Ariel here, Windows Central Gaming. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the 10 best Xbox and PC horror games of all time. For all of you horror fans out there, hopefully you'll find something new that you can really sink your teeth into in this list. Coming in at number 1 and starting off really strong, if I do say so myself, Resident Evil 1 Remake. The year is 1998, and the Raccoon City Police Department dispatched their elite unit STARS Bravo team to investigate a series of bizarre murders on the outskirts of the Midwestern city. After Bravo team goes missing, the STARS Alpha team set out to survey the forest where Bravo team was last heard from, only to discover the wreckage of Bravo team's helicopter and the corpse of their pilot. Chris Redfield leads Alpha team deeper into the forest to continue their search, where their unit is ambushed by a pack of undead dogs. The team flee into the nearby mansion, unaware of the horrors to come. Now, I have a bit of a bias when it comes to this game, considering the fact that it was the first video game I ever played. And coming in at number 2 on the list, Outlast. In the remote mountains of Colorado, horrors wait inside Mount Massive Asylum, a long-abandoned home for the mentally ill, recently reopened by the research and charity branch of the Transitional Murkoff Corporation, has been operating in strict secrecy. Acting on a tip from an inside source, independent journalist Miles Upshur breaks into the facility, and what he discovers walks a terrifying line between science and religion, nature, and something else entirely. Once inside, his only hope of escape lies with the terrible truth at the heart of Mount Massive. This is one of those games that you really have to go in with an open mind, because there's no weapons, there's nothing that you can really utilize like a typical horror game. You can hide, you can create things as distractions, and you can use stealth, but really your only hope for survival is hiding in a bunch of lockers, and I mean that in all sincerity. Oh, this next one, I'm so excited for this next one. Okay, coming in at number 3, The Evil Within. While investigating the scene of a gruesome mass murder, Detective Sebastian Castellanos and his partners encounter a mysterious and powerful force. After seeing the slaughter of fellow officers, Sebastian is ambushed and knocked unconscious. When he awakes, he finds himself in a deranged world where hideous creatures wander among the dead. Now, this game was developed by Shinji Mikami, who is the creator of the Resident Evil series and the talented team at Tango Gameworks. The Evil Within embodies the meaning of pure survival horror. Highly crafted environments, horrifying anxiety, and an intricate story are all combined to create this immersive world that will bring you to the height of tension. With limited resources at your disposal, you'll fight for survival and experience profound fear in this perfect blend of horror and action. Personally, this is one of my favorite horror games. The psychology, the horror, the tense atmosphere that you experience. Highly recommend it for those who are fans of horror and who have not tried this game before. It's just absolutely incredible. Coming in at number 4, Fran Bow. Fran Bow is a creepy adventure game that tells the story of Fran, a young girl struggling with a mental disorder and an unfair destiny. After witnessing the gruesome and mysterious loss of her parents, Fran Bow rushes into the woods together with her only friend, Mr. Midnight, a black cat that Fran had previously received as a present. In the forest, Fran goes into shock over the loss of her parents, and when she recovers, she's at Oswald Asylum, an oppressive mental institution for children, and Mr. Midnight is nowhere to be found. After having a dream about her beloved cat, Fran decides to escape from the mental institution to find him and go back home to Aunt Grace, her only living relative. Next up on the list, Neverending Nightmares. The player takes a role of Thomas, a man who wakes up from one nightmare and into another. As the player navigates Thomas throughout the game, the nightmare becomes progressively worse, including the horrifying monsters that lurk within them. Each time Thomas dies in a nightmare, he will wake up again in either the same nightmare as before or into a different one. This acts as the game's checkpoints and save system. The game contains a total of 3 different endings, all influenced by the player's choices or paths they take. The artwork in this game is something incredibly unique and was one of the drawing points for me whenever I first played this game. It's a really interesting title, so let me know what you think down in the comments below if you decide to play it. Next up, Visage. Similarly to that of Madison, Visage is a first-person psychological horror game. Still, unlike the former, this one is designed to be slow-paced, atmospheric experience, focusing on exploration and building tension slowly to create more of a meaningful experience for the players. With multiple stories to play through, players will explore an ever-changing house where unspeakable things have happened. Family members murdered, suicides, insanity, The list goes on. With no combat system in sight, Visage relies on a run and hide technique to leave you in fear, but sometimes death is necessary to move forward. This is a game that deserves as many people to experience it as possible. Again, I know it doesn't need to be said because a lot of these are horror games and you know what you're signing up for when you go into a horror game, but please be advised when you're going into this game to be prepared and know that you want to play it beforehand. There's a lot of different topics that are discussed in this game, as well as every other game that I mentioned here today on the list that need a trigger warning. Okay, I know I said it before with another game, but I mean it still for this one as well. Remothered Tormented Fathers is the next one on the list, and it's just, it's so good. It's so good. Rosemary Reed enters the house of a retired notary, Dr. Felton, who is affected by a mysterious disease. The woman is greeted by Miss Gloria, the nurse who takes care of the old man. When Rosemary reveals herself and her true intentions, the terrifying dread begins. Rosemary's investigations will bring her to believe that the disappearance of the man's daughter Celeste actually hides a terrible massacre. Dr. Felton and his wife Ariana could be the only ones to know the truth, including the secret behind Celeste's real identity and a fanatic cult of cloistered nuns in red. Next up on the list, The Beast Inside. Okay, so picture kind of a twisted story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but current day, and you have this game. The Beast Inside is a unique, gripping twist on thriller and survival horror. The game mixes intriguing story-driven adventures with unnerving survival horror experiences. In Boston, it's 1979, and we play as Adam, a CIA cryptanalyst, leaves the city and moves to the countryside with his wife, Emma. His work may alter the course of the Cold War, and it turns out this area is quite the opposite of a peaceful place they might have expected. He finds a mysterious diary written by a man, Nicholas Hyde, allegedly, a past resident of the same house who lived there in the 19th century. Density increases as these two stories collide and come to an inevitable crash. Distant past and his eternal prisoner. Nicholas against Adam. It's a really unique take on Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and I would highly recommend for those who really want a unique storytelling atmosphere and a really unique game to try this one out. Next up, Home Sweet Home. Tim's life has drastically changed since his wife's disappearance. One night he woke up in an unknown place instead of his own home. While trying to escape from this place, he was haunted by a female spirit. Can he survive? Some dark, sinister secret is hidden within the walls of this house, and it won't be a place of happiness any longer. This game is a first-person horror adventure game based on Thai myths and beliefs. The core gameplay focuses on storytelling and stealth to avoid perilous spirits hunting you. Moreover, few puzzles are added into the game, making the gameplay more various. Just a little piece of advice, don't play this game at 3 o'clock in the morning when it's pouring rain outside. It adds to the atmosphere, but at what cost? And last but not least, Alien Isolation. Discover the true meaning of fear in Alien Isolation, a survival horror set in an atmospheric of constant dread and mortal danger. 15 years after the events of Alien, Ellen Ripley's daughter, Amanda, enters a desperate battle for survival on a mission to unravel the truth of her mother's disappearance. As Amanda, you'll navigate through an increasingly volatile world as you'll find yourself confronted on all sides by a panicked, desperate population and unpredictable, ruthless aliens. Underpowered and underprepared, you must scavenge resources, improvise solutions, and use your wits not just to succeed in your mission, but to simply stay alive. It's a great horror game. It's another game where you have to hide in a lot of places in order to survive. I mean, the clicking noise of the alien is probably one of the most unnerving things I've ever experienced. That was our top 10 best Xbox and PC horror games of all time. Let us know which ones you're going to be checking out down in the comments below. But that's it for me. I'm Ariel in Windows Central Gaming, and I'll see you in the next one.